Chris Warren.
And I'm Crystal Lager. We're bringing you the latest information tonight and the stories from Superstorm Sandy during this special edition of Weather Center Live. We want to begin with the latest headlines. The Coast Guard has suspended its search now for 63-year-old Robin Walbridge, the missing captain of the HMS Bounty.
The ship sunk Monday southeast of Cape Hatteras as Hurricane Sandy moved up the East Coast.
And Connecticut, we understand, will get federal help. The state is getting $2 million in emergency funding for infrastructure repairs after Superstorm Sandy hit the state.
And New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg announced today that students will be able to return to New York City schools beginning on Monday. And in dozens of communities and cities, there are emergencies that need to be dealt with and people that need help desperately.
That's right. Storm Tracker Jim Cantore reports tonight on the situation around Hoboken, New Jersey.
Clinton Street in Hoboken, New Jersey took on 4 feet of water from Hurricane Sandy.
A wall of water that basically came down the street. He said it looked like a tsunami.
This hardware store has been on the corner for over 70 years.
You can see the watermark.
Yeah, I can. It looks like this in every direction. It's hard to say exactly what was in that wall of water, but no one here can make whatever it was go away fast enough.
We've lived through many, many storms. We've lived through plenty of flooding, but not like this.
The frustration with the response is palpable and growing.
Oh, yeah, you see all the help we got here, right? Man, they're loaded up. They're waiting to help us. I haven't seen the mayor. I haven't seen anybody. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you tell me.
You're mad, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, it's ludicrous. It really is. It's you know, it's totally uncalled for.
They don't feel like they were properly warned in advance of the storm either.
Do you think if there was a hurricane warning up that you would have reacted differently than you did?
Without a doubt. The tenants would have left. People didn't leave. There's no electric. There's no water for these people now. We had a water main break caused by this. You know, exactly. If it was a mandatory evacuation, without a doubt.
There's little point in looking back now. People here aren't looking for a handout, just the necessities to help them clean up.
You want to be a hero? Get some gas. You know, get gas in here.
In the meantime, residents like Grasso are taking matters into their own hands.
You know, we're pretty resilient here. You know, I think we'll, you know, you can tell by our conversation, this is a pretty tight-knit community. You know, the gentleman next door, the people that own this building, I mean, we've all been here a very, very long time. You know, so we'll band together. I mean, this is where we make our livelihood. We got to come back. If we don't, you know, we're done. I mean, you know, we got to come back from this one way or another.
In Hoboken, New Jersey, I'm meteorologist Jim Cantore.
As you can see, a lot of work still lies ahead for so many people, homeowners, business owners, just trying to get back to normal. And the weather is very important right now as we move forward.
It is for the recovery efforts, also for the fact that so many people, millions, still do not have power. And you need power, in most cases, if you don't have a generator, to heat your home. And look at these overnight lows.
Temperatures have been in the 30s overnight. Most of these daytime highs are still below average for the most part. And you may have heard buzz about a possible coastal storm by the middle of next week. Stay with us about 10 more minutes or so. We're going to break it all down in the winter weather update for you and look ahead to what's in store.
And in some of the reports we've been hearing, we hear that parts of the Northeast still resemble a war zone.
In New York City, NBC's Richard Engel, who is used to war zones, tonight he reports from the air and underground at the huge challenge ahead after Sandy.
From here you can see the skyline, that iconic image.
New York City surrounded by water and now partly underwater.
There's the pumps, you see the pumps. We were down in that subway.
At the tip of Manhattan, the South Ferry subway station is simply out of commission. From where we are at the top of this water, the top of the flooding, to the very bottom, how deep is this pool?
I would say we have about 20 feet to get to the platform.
There is a plan to get the water out. So you're sending a train that also pumps water into the tunnels, into the underwater tunnels.
We'll bring it in, we'll submerge it slightly, and it will have a hose, and it will begin sucking the water up.
And the tunnel connecting Manhattan and Brooklyn, the longest of its kind in North America, now holds 40 million gallons of water that must be removed with care.
Some places we could probably pump out quicker, but we don't want to collapse the tunnel. And so we have to pump it out somewhat slow so the pressure is equalized such that the tunnel doesn't collapse.
Even the dock on Liberty Island has been washed away. The statue, just recently renovated, and nearby Ellis Island are now closed until further notice. Blame it on a freak storm, climate change, or both. These are problems New York has never had before.
Here we see one possible configuration of a barrier.
Some say they can be prevented from happening again by building seawalls, levees, or gigantic surge barriers. Oceanography professor Malcolm Bowman.
If we had such barriers in place during Hurricane Sandy, there would have been no damage at all.
Others, including Mayor Michael Bloomberg, don't see that happening.
I don't know that I think there's any practical ways to build barriers in the oceans. That's not, when you have an enormous harbor like we do.
The questions and the cleanup continue.
The perspective you get from up here is that this is going to take weeks, maybe months.
Now, this is not over yet by a long shot.
Richard Engel, NBC News, New York.
And we want you to stay with us for our complete coverage of Superstorm Sandy and its aftermath.